Hello. During the festival of Purim, which is recorded in the book of Esther, one of the things that we learn is that Haman, who was a leader in the kingdom of Persia, he cast lots to select a day to annihilate or destroy all the Jewish people. In all my years of following Messiah, reading the scriptures, I never heard one teaching about casting lots. And so I've decided to research a little bit about it myself. Now, I'm certainly not an expert at it yet. I'm not ready to write a thesis paper about casting lots, but I've noticed a few things and I would love to hear from you if you know anything about casting lots. First thing here, we know, well, Haman wasn't a man of faith. He was not part of the kingdom of God. So therefore, something that he does is not necessarily an example for us to follow. True, but I did see in a little bit of studying that Jewish people, part of the kingdom of God, they cast lots. Not only did Jewish people do it, but leaders in Israel as well. Here we have that when Moses and Joshua were ready to divide up the land of Israel for the 12 tribes, they cast lots to decide which pieces of land each of the tribes get. Why would they do that? Don't you think they'd form a committee, a housing committee, and to tally up the square footage of all the land of Israel, and then gather the numbers of all the people in each of the 12 tribes, get some great mathematicians to pull out their calculators and make sure they come up with the correct answer? How much land does each tribe get fairly based on the amount of land and the amount of people in their tribe? But that's not what they did. They cast lots to do that, the leaders of Israel. Hey, the high priest continually cast lots when seeking God for decisions, including on Yom Kippur, the Day of Atonement, the most serious, sacred, holy, special day in the calendar of God, in God's calendar. They would cast lots, the high priest, to determine which goat is the scapegoat and which one is sacrificed. The scapegoat, all the sins of the people of Israel would be laid upon the head of the scapegoat, who would be led away to carry away with itself the sins of all the people, and then would be left to die for the sins of all the people. When selecting a scapegoat for such an important task, they cast lots. Why would they do that? I don't know. Hey, look at this. There was a day, there was people on a ship. A great storm was going on, and they were fearful of their lives. And so what did the people say? Let's cast lots to find out who's the cause of this problem. Who did this? And they cast lots and they found out Jonah was the guilty man. He sinned before God, and the storm in which could take their life was a result of his sin. So they picked him up and threw him into the sea, and the second they did it, bingo, the storm ceased and all was calm. They weren't leaders, but here it was. People did it again. And hey, one more instance. There are other instances, but these are the ones. The disciples, the first apostles, Judas took his life. They met together and decided they needed to replace Judas and get another apostle in there amongst their midst. And they cast lots to decide, to find out the will of God, not just to make a human decision, to find out the will of God. Is it Barsabbas or Matthias? They cast lots to seek the will of God. And so leaders cast lots when seeking the will of God, when determining destiny, the future, important decisions. What do you know? I would love to learn more because I've never heard anyone do a full teaching. So if you have any information, share a brief comment about what you know about casting lots, or place a link in there on a website that had an interesting article so that I and other people who see this could go ahead during this season of Purim when we're reading the book of Esther and thinking about this. We could do a little research and learn something new. And if I can gather some more stuff, hopefully by next year, Purim, I'll have an entire teaching on casting lots. So thanks for watching, and thank you for the help that you might be able to give. And if you have nothing to contribute, pray for me that God teaches me some more. Happy Purim.